just started.
Yep.
So this session is basically about, as Hike just introduced in the keynote, right? We have basically launched something called Microsoft Unified SoC, which is an amalgamation of our existing SIEM services that we had on Azure with our M365 Defender portal, right? A little bit about me. I'm currently a cybersecurity specialist working in Microsoft India, and you can go ahead and buzz me over LinkedIn or any other way to interact and connect with me, right? With that, let me get started. So let me start and take a step backward and understand what's the whole idea about a unified SOC and why would basically people or customers move towards a unified SOC, right? To also put it behind scenes is unified SOC is not a different product, not a different SKU from Microsoft. It's just a you can say a UI change in terms of how you can get or give your analyst a unified SIEM and XDR experience, right? When we talk about a unified platform, it is truly a unified platform, right? So many a times that we have seen, right, or we had in Microsoft before is that we had different endpoint protection solutions, threat intel, we have different cloud apps protection, we had an email security portal, we had a posture management on cloud, we had a secure score on M365, we had a secure score on Azure, right? So a lot of different siloed tools which were basically used to give a meaningful value, and the analyst has to basically run from one portal triage to another portal, and then obviously link together all the mitered kill chain, right, to get a meaningful value. So what we have thought and got a feedback, and what we have done is we have brought all of this technology to deliver something stronger than the individual siloed part, right? So what we have done as a part of unified SOC operations is that we basically built in top of the already intel that we have got from all of the defender intels. Plus, we also have our own infused defender for threat intel, right? And then to top it up, we have got something called XSPM, which is nothing but exposure enhanced security exposure posture management, which basically is an amalgamation of all the secure score, attack surface, attack path analysis, unified asset inventory, right? Exposure and prioritize remediation that we get, be it industry regulations, be it security baselines, be it OS baselines, everything can be brought from XSPM. Plus, we are also basically expanding XSPM to not only to Defender products, but also to third party. Then we have also brought the SIEM, which was our cloud native SIEM in Sentinel, which was an Azure portal. We have also brought the SIEM under them. And then obviously, Defender for 365 Defender always had an XDR portal, wherein you had all the Defender for endpoint, identities, cloud apps, and Office MDO, right, coming together and correlating together. So we have already have that on Defender. And then to top it up, we have basically brought an AI-powered SOC. That means we have brought the power of Copilot on all of the incidents, threat huntings, automated workflow, right? And to give your analyst an end-to-end overview of how Copilot for security can drive those incident analysis and aid on the investigations further, right? So let's get a little bit deeper. So what we had envisaged a couple of years ago or had before is that on the left hand side, you can see we had the Microsoft Sentinel experience on Azure, where we had all of the analyst experience, namely the investigations, the prioritized incident queue, the hunting, the SOAR using of logic app and automation. We had the detections, MITRE ATT&CK dashboards, solution packages, right? And on the right hand side, we had the Microsoft Defender XDR portal where we had the same analyst experience, right? So what we did as a part of Unified SOC is basically married both of them, right? So instead of getting the individual incident investigation on two different things, now everything is unified. You would get a unified incident and investigation, you get a unified exposure management, you get a unified advanced hunting, you get single user interface, and then there are some added on capabilities or value addition that we have also infused is something called automatic attack disruption, right? You get SOC optimization, right? I'll come to it later. So this is what an analyst experience when he basically gets to Copilot today. And then on the left hand side, you can see we also give the power of Copilot here. So we will get a Copilot for security where he can get a step-by-step actionable remediation guidance. He can get a natural language to KQL translation remediation. He can also get a first-hand script analysis. He can do incident summarization, report generation, and everything. So the whole experience of single unified SOC comes to picture. And obviously, when it comes to the data, which is the data coming from the third-party solutions or the data connectors or the solutions that we have, is also taken from the Sentinel portal and merged here, right? Uh, Next, as to how we get started, right? So it's easy to get Microsoft Sentinel Workspace easily onboarded. So currently, if you go to your Defender portal, if you have not currently migrated to the unified portal, you would basically get saying that a widget saying that, hey, go ahead and add your workspace, Sentinel workspace, right? Assuming you have already the required amount of RBAC controls or access to your workspace, Sentinel workspace, you would be able to choose your workspace, right? And then add them. So once you add them, you would basically get some view like this, where you will get a unified overview of your data, your connected apps, your device compliance, your security score, and so on, right? Next, what you will also get is something called Unified Incident Queue, which I said. So if currently, if you had an incident coming from an XDR, that XDR incident had to be basically ingested into Sentinel. Or if you want to do an advanced threat hunting, as Samik just showed you, you had to get those raw logs fed into Sentinel, which obviously had an extra cost, extra burden, and then obviously you had to do the unified threat hunting on the Sentinel, sending the logs from your XDR portal. Now, because both the portals are same, you do not need to send your XDR raw logs to Sentinel. You can, however, if you have some compliance needs to store it more than 6 months of data. But if you want to do only the incident triaging, you do not need to go ahead and connect those connectors specifically, right? So that again, from the cost commercial perspective and from the optimization of your logs, it's the same unified portal. So whenever an incident comes into your queue, the unified portal, it might come from any of the XDR stack, or it might come from the Sentinel stack. You will get a unified portal, right? But you would also get categories, impacts, assets, entities to understand which actual devices or defender this is coming from. You will also get a single data model, right? Where you can understand, okay, this logs or this incident has already been correlated from my XDR stack, or there are some insights coming from my Sentinel or from my cloud signals, right? Unified investigation. So we just had a session from Samik where he showed you how can you do threat hunting. So there is another thing called investigation, wherein an incident comes, and in the incident pane, like if you go to Sentinel today, right, you had the end-to-end or unified investigation. The similar experience you will get here. The only value addition is that you will get both the XDR and Sentinel incident correlated. So much of the use cases like business email compromise, human operated ransomware, or SAP financial fraud, right? You can get an end-to-end kill chain or timelines of all those alerts, whether you have got similar incidents, what investigations or automatic investigations the defender has already done for you. Right pane, you will get the all of the attack path, right? What was the initiation of that, and you can basically go ahead and run them in the sequence of events as well, right? Then you would also get something called unified hunting. So as a part of hunting tables, you had already the XDR tables in your Defender, and then you had your Sentinel tables on Sentinel on Azure. Now, because the workspace is common, you would get all of the unified hunting table. So if you get device file events, or maybe if you got security incidents coming from Sentinel, it would be the same advanced hunting table which you need to go ahead and hunt on. You don't need a separate hunting table on XDR and Sentinel going forward, right? Now coming to specific value additions, right? As I said, we have something called Microsoft Security Exposure Management, right? Now this Microsoft Security Exposure Management is a security solution that provides a unified security posture across company assets and workflow. So when we say that company assets, that means you get unified identities or assets. So you can basically go ahead and classify your identity or asset as critical, so to understand what are your crown jewels, right? Plus, the other value addition is that so it expands across different sets of Microsoft products. Maybe if you're having Defender for vulnerability management or attack surface management, or if you want to have your cloud security posture management or endpoint security, identity security posture, or SaaS SSPM coming from Defender for cloud apps, or email security, OT security. Plus, we have also going to non-Microsoft ecosystem currently with the integration with ServiceNow CMDB. So this experience will give you a unified asset, unified posture management, and unified secure score across your different environments, right? So you don't have to have separate secure score, or if you do not have to track separate secure score for your security governance or identity posture, right? Everything is seamless. Plus, you would also get industry regulation key initiatives like what is your ransomware protection, what is your endpoint security status, do you have any business email compromise, what is your cloud security score, everything you would get and track seamlessly, singly. Another thing is that the attack surface management. So normally, if you know, if people using Defender for Cloud, this attack surface management was basically a part of our Defender for Cloud offering as a part of cloud security posture management. So therein only we would only map the cloud security postures and multi-cloud posture management as well. So what we have done as a part of Unified Portal and XSPM is that brought the same experience to Defender XDR. Now what you can basically understand is that now you can also do that attack surface management with all of your environment. Maybe it is a hybrid or cloud, doesn't matter. Every attack surface management, you will get the same contextualization based on what kind of attack path it is coming from, whether you have an exposed roles, exposed IPs, or over permissive IPs, or over permissive roles, critical asset. So all of these, right? And then as a part of the security governance and security initiatives, you would also get like initiatives which is like business email compromise or CIS trends, or all of the Azure security fundamentals, which is now called Microsoft Security Benchmark. You would get it centrally, and you can basically go ahead and track the secure score going forward, right? Now, what as a part of security operations or SOC we have got is Copilot. So as you know, with the advent of Gen AI and infusing Copilot for security into all products, so Copilot for security is the central point on all our Defender stack revolves around, right? So primarily the use case of Copilot for security would be incident summarization, impact analysis, reverse engineering scripts, or guided response. But we are not limiting to only these SOC use cases as well, because today for Copilot for security, you can also go ahead and integrate your device management MDM solution, or if you want to do your identity management, right? Whether you want to know your identity risk posture, or if you want to know, hey, what is your cloud risk users, whether somebody is logging from an MFA or not, how many failed logins he had. So instead of you going ahead and writing this complex threat hunting or writing those queries, you can basically do seamlessly writing a natural query, and automatically Copilot for security would translate that into a meaningful KQL and run on the backend, either the XDR or Sentinel, and give you those responses seamlessly, right? Plus, we have, as a part of our greater integration, we have also integrated Purview, which is our data security and compliance platform, to the Copilot for security. So a lot of the data security or DLP incidents, or if you want to have data governance or data security posture, you can also go ahead and ask those DLP incidents, summarize those DLP incidents from Copilot for security today, right? And then obviously Copilot for security is also infused with the advanced threat intelligence search. So whether you want to have it with Microsoft Defender for Threat Intel, or if you want to go ahead and integrate your third-party TIs coming from VirusTotal or other tip solution, you can go ahead and integrate that as well. Coming to another feature addition in the unified portal is something called automatic disruption, which along with the SOC workload. So remember when we had the normal Sentinel, we had some kind of SOAR which uses logic apps where you can basically go ahead in your custom use cases wherein, okay, if there is an incident, I want to block those in my on-prem firewall, or I want to remediate a user, contain a user, block an IP, block a user, right? Reset an MFA, or create an incident into my ITSM tool, or send out an email notification to your SOC teams email. All of that is possible today with the integration of Logic App and SOAR. What with attack disruption we have bought is much of those facilities are basically out of the box. That means we have seen that the mean time to respond to an incident, if we depend upon a SOAR, increases, and thereby it increases a lot of our attack posture. I mean, the blast radius increases. So what we did is to reduce that mean time to respond. And as a matter, we have basically created this out of box capability wherein Defender XDR today can continuously update your incidents and take action automatically, right? Just for an example, I would go through one financial process manipulation with automatic attack disruption. So if you can see here, let's walk through this thing. At 2:45 a.m., we see the attacker sends a phishing link to the user, right? And the user clicks on the URL. Now the attacker has access to this user credentials, right? Now at 3:04, the attacker then uses the user credentials to log into the SAP, right? And after successfully logging into the attacker the attacker starts downloading the confidential or financial SAP data, right? Now, through the detections from both Sentinel and Defender XDR, we are now able to disrupt the financial fraud and block the compromised SAP user's account, which is also called lock SAP user at 4:45 a.m., right? Automatically. And then once the attacker realizes that, hey, I have been locked out, then he tries to pivot to a traditional business email compromise, which is another way to exfiltrate, right? And then he sends emails to push for more user credential because the one that he had got into is already locked out. He tries for pushing more user credential and set up an inbox forwarding rule that contains the sensitive information. Now, part of the XDR is our Defender for Cloud Apps. Now, Defender for Cloud Apps detects that inbound inbox rule manipulation, triggering the Defender XDR again to disrupt the attack, and this time disabling the user account in the Entra ID, right? So now the attacker is locked out from both the SAP and the Entra ID, preventing them from causing further damage in the environment. So this is how an automatic attack disruption can basically go ahead and take action automatically without you having taken or doing first level of prima facie investigation, right? So this is that. Let me Another action is the management of cost, which basically we had a long standing request from customer, is that because we have infused Sentinel with Defender with the unified portal, the SOC optimization dashboard also comes triggered along. So the SOC dashboard optimization dashboard is basically dynamically addresses your security needs. That means it will basically go ahead and analyze your SOC data or your SOC incident table, your data connectors, your data, and give you recommendations. Says that, hey, I see their data being ingested to this table, but this table has not been used in any of the incidents for last 90 days. Or if there are any rules that have been not triggered in last 90 days, it will just give you an incident or a visibility saying that, hey, you might go ahead and change those rules, or you can basically fine tune your rules such that incident is triggered. So thereby, it basically gives the value or the ROI on the investment, because we believe that your SOC should be actually used, the amount of data that you ingest to SOC is actually used for an analytics table. So the more use of your analytics logs would be, the greater at optimization or greater value of return you will get, right? With that, let me go to some demo, right? Just give me a minute. So this is your unified portal, right? So when you land to your unified portal today, you see you would basically get all of the incidents, your SOC optimization widgets here, your ITDR deployment health. So your ITDR is basically a conglomeration of Entra ID and Defender for Identity, right? Where you get the identity secure posture and identity threat detection. You get the device compliance. So this is coming from your Intune or MDM. You get your connected SaaS application. This is coming from your Defender for Cloud, where you get your SaaS applications posture. And this is an overall Microsoft security score across your identity, device, and apps, where you get a centralized secure score. You can go ahead and see what kind of secure score recommendations actions it is, whether you want to turn on your Defender antivirus, or you want to go ahead and block your executables from your MDO. It will also show you the status, progress, which category this recommendation is coming from, right? And then it will also have a history of how you had over a period of time. So this is just a clinical snapshot of how you had been flaring on your security score. You can also get the metrics and trends. Okay, what you did, you can compare it. How were you maybe flaring maybe a week or a fortnight ago, and how are you doing today, right? Now coming to the another tab, which is exposure security management, exposure management, which is the part of our XSPM. So on the XSPM portal, when you click here, as you see, right, you, at a glance, you would get all of your devices, right? How many onboarded devices are there? How many discovered devices you have? How many internet facing devices you have? How many cloud resources you have? How many identities you have? And then you would also get a classification of their vulnerabilities based on critical, high, and 0 day as well, right? And then, as I said you, there are some key initiatives actually we run to help you do proactive initiatives across. So you do not have to track any ransomware protection or business email compromise or cloud security preview. We already give you some key initiatives, which might be domain initiative based on what kind of domain you are, whether you are coming from a healthcare or financial BFSI customer. And we also basically give you some threat initiatives because, as I said, Unified SOC or XDR is already infused with the latest Defender for Threat Intel, where we basically track a lot of the TTPs and the nation state and the actor things. So anyway, how the number of actors that we are tracking, you can go ahead and track those and understand the TTPs and behaviors. Domain initiatives will give you, hey, what kind of CIS foundation benchmark, what kind of cloud security assessments or posture you have, what kind of critical asset security protection you have. This, as I said, you can basically categorize each asset as your critical or high value. Based on that, it will give you the critical asset protection. You can also get endpoint security. If you have IoT environment integrated, you can also bring in your IoT security posture. Attack surface protection will give you Defender for ESM, which continuously maps your digital space from an external or outside in view of your infrastructure, be it your exposed IPs, certificates, domains, right? Identity security would give you across your Defender for Identity and Azure AD EP2, ransomware protection, and similarly the Zero Trust Foundation. So these are some of the key initiatives that the portal already gives you for you to track and understand. Next is some top metrics, where we basically track any kind of virtual machines with your, which has a plain text or secrets, any kind of images in your microservices with high vulnerabilities, whether your Defender storage is enabled or not across your thing. And then obviously we have this attack map. So this attack surface map gives you a total segregation of how many devices, identities, or clouds you have across your domain or a tenant, and then lets you map across what are those devices can be, right? How many of them are critical assets and all. And the next part which we bought is the unified attack path, wherein you, as you can see, not only the Microsoft, you can also do a cross multi-cloud as well, where I can say that, hey, how many RDS database with exposed internet exposure or basic authentication is there at the DB level, and they have not yet used Azure AD or a central AD authentication. So you can get those attack path analysis. This is much more contextual in terms of atomic recommendations saying that, oh, your EC2 is internet exposed and you might go ahead and block, because this will give you more insights into what if I have a VM exposed to internet, whether that VM has access to a crown jewel like a SQL database, or maybe a key secret vault, which may help give me a high severity or a high vulnerability use case. Then obviously is the secure score, which I already showed you, which is a centralized secure score where you get track recommendations and everything. Now, as a part of unified investigation and response, right? Let's go through one incident response. So one of them is maybe taken human operated ransomware, right? So here you see we have a human operated ransomware attack. So as I see the incident investigation pane, I open, right? On the right hand side, automatically you see there is a Copilot embedded, which already gives me, hey, what is the incident summary? What is the guided response you have? What kind of triaging I have done? You can go ahead and classify this incident accordingly, and then it will give you the guided response. Hey, based on the investigation that I have done, you can go ahead and isolate a device, or maybe you can go ahead and do, or you can go ahead and contain a user, reset a user MFA and everything, right? On the left hand side, as you can see, if I can show you this here, fit to screen, you can play the whole attack story, right? Suspicious URL clicked, a user access was zapped in the MDOP2, a parse exec command was launched on a remote command, there was a compression of sensitive data, there is a possible attempt to access the PRT, you have Active Directory services there, you have a malware called Keiko, which was blocked by your Defender for endpoint, right? And then there was a suspicious certificate used by your PKI. So all of those gives you a good incident attack story, right? And then, as I said, as this human operated ransomware is one such thing where we have already taken actions to. So you can go ahead and go to your attack center, action center here. As you can see, automatically the automatic investigation and response has kicked in, and it has basically contained the devices, disabled this user as a part of the automatic investigation. And then it is up to me to go ahead and do any kind of custom integration or run a logic app or a SOAR as well. So if I go ahead and click here, I can go ahead and run a playbook. This is again my custom SOAR that I built in order to do a further actions or enrichment if I need to do, right? Similar experience as in the cloud or Sentinel, you have the alerts which were correlated to form a one particular incident, tracking the commonalities of the assets entities. You get all of the assets here where you have the devices, user, mailbox, if he is using a cloud resource, what investigations have been done so far in order to create this incident, and as well as kick in the automatic investigation, automatic disruptions. But there was a Mimikatz credential theft tool. There was a URL verdict was changed to malicious by your MDO. So you can get all of the service source here and the detection source here, right? Based on that, these are some of the preventing actions which you can go ahead and take. Or if you had already taken care, then this would not have been happened, right? The idea behind of giving the recommended action is that because you already had this open points or not a good security posture across your environment, these are some of the things that you can go ahead and do as a part of your security governance or posture management further, such that similar incidents doesn't happen, right? That pain is also here. you can get similar incidents. So if you had any kind of human operated ransomware attack similar in the past, you would also get the similar incident here. So you, as you can see, this is I mean, a self-explanatory and incident investigation dashboard where you get attack plus story, you can get an incident summarization, you can get guided response from Copilot, right? So this is a very good view for an analyst to go ahead and ascertain, yes, that incident is a false positive, true positive, or a true benign, right? Coming to hunting, as Samik already showed you, we have this advanced hunting where you can see across your kill chain, whether you are coming from your alerts and behavior or applications or identities from your emails, devices, from your vulnerability management solution, from your exposure management, from your log management. So this is again coming from the Sentinel that we have got, right? So these are all Sentinel specific logs that have come in. So if you have brought any custom logs by either a DCI or API integration to Sentinel, those logs will also come up here for you to go ahead and do or build your own custom use cases or thing. And these are again coming from the connected connectors or from your SIM tables, which Sentinel is sending it here, right? So in this pane, you can see previously you had have got the investigate and response threat intel assets. Now this is the new part where you get the same Microsoft Sentinel threat management, where you get the workbook, hunting, the MITRE ATT&CK dashboard here, right? And then you will have the content management, the configuration if you want to go ahead and enable connectors, create your analytics to rule, watch list or automation, right? So you will have the same seamless experience of Sentinel that you are having in this unified portal. Coming to the identities, this was already there as a part of Defender XDR, right? When you had the identities, the only additional is this ITDR dashboard. So this ITDR dashboard is a dynamic dashboard that offers a critical insights of your real-time data, be it an on-prem user, be it a hybrid user, or be it a cloud-only user. You get all of these insights centrally. That means we are tracking both the user who are registered to your Azure AD or coming from your on-prem AD via our Defender for Identity and Azure AD P2 risk thing. We can basically track your high privilege identities, your global admins. You get an identity score. You get an identity posture. If you had identity related incidents which are linked to a greater incident or a multi-stage attack or a human operated ransomware, you will also get here. You will also get the domains, all of the domains integrated. Maybe you have a custom domain with unsecured configuration here. And then this also gives you views of your how many user risk profile coming from your Entra ID if you have an Azure AD, Azure AD P2 licenses available, right? And this will give you the risk lateral movement path if you are doing a lateral movement or privilege escalations, or if you want to do, if you have a sensitive group or a dormant AD group and all. So you will get those insights here as well. You can also track your health insights from your sensors, whether your ADFS auditing or your Defender for Identity sensors are not working, or if you have not enabled advanced directory services auditing for the sensors to work and give you insights, you can also do that. Next is the tools. There are different tools where you can use either for a sizing tool, for readiness script, if you want to go ahead and deploy Defender for Identity across your in your domain controllers or ADFS or certificate management servers, right? From the endpoint perspective, it remains almost the same. The only thing is that we have added the Defender for Vulnerability Management dashboard or enhanced it. It was already there as a part of MDP2, right? So you get exposure management, remediation activities, you get your top security recommendations. You can also get your score across your application, OS, network, accounts, and security centrally here, right? And then the inventory here, as I said you, the thing is that we can basically go ahead and get a unified inventory value, be it your software, browser extension, certificates, or hardware and firmware. You can get a centralized view of your inventory here as well, right? You can also go ahead and create your baseline assessment. So if you want to go ahead and track, okay, I need to create my Windows CIS framework or baseline, or if you have a custom baseline coming from your golden image that you want to go ahead and track, you can also go ahead and create your security baseline here and track those going forward, right? One question that I got was basically your API connecting to a third-party ITSM tool or API. Yes, today you can go to your connected applications, right? Either you have a custom applications like a Power BI or any other API thing. You can also go to your API Explorer. We give you all of this thing where you can test out your Explorer. If you want how to get the top 10 incidents or alerts and everything, you can run it here. And then based on that, you can use those API to further integrate your third-party tools or non-Microsoft ecosystem, right? Configuration management, this is coming from our Intune or MDM, where basically we are bringing the dashboard of how many devices are managed or enforced by our MDE, what is your onboarded devices look like, what is your device attack surface management, what kind of endpoint security policies you are pushing from. So you do not have to depend now from the Intune. Everything is possible from your endpoint dashboard or the unified dashboard as well, whether you want to push your attack surface reduction rules, whether you want to control your MDR policy, or you want to create a quick scan, a full scan, everything is possible through the endpoint security policy as well, right? Coming to the email and collaboration part, as we already had a session on MDU. So this will give you our investigations. What are the investigations already in pursuit for impending action taken by MDO? The Explorer will give you end-to-end view of your source, destination, emails, whether there was a malware, whether there were phishing campaign running against you, whether how many URL clicks were there, right? All of these can be tracked over here. You can also go ahead and select your own customizable table. You can basically see, hey, if I had got, if you want to see that, okay, if you think that there is some recipient where you want to go ahead and track those email from, you can also get that. Plus, you would also get a preview of what kind of emails or attachments it was sent. You can also track the threat tracker here, whether it's a trending campaigns or you have some saved queries coming from your investigations. And then another part is this email exchange trace, where this is the part where you, as I said, you can actually get the raw email, what kind of email or attachment was there. You can go ahead and basically preview that in order to aid your investigation or maybe as a part of your forensic investigation. And the last is the attack simulation training in the email and collaboration, wherein you can basically simulate your attack simulation training, be it your phishing URL campaign or QR campaign, and you can basically go ahead and generate reports based on the user profile and send him more customizable training in order to understand, hey, what is the particular user's training competency, right? And how susceptible those users are. Last but not the least is the policies, where you can basically create your own customizable threat policies, alert policies, and activity alerts, right? And then this is the cloud apps, which is of your cloud. You can basically track your SaaS app security posture, where you have the cloud app discovery. You can create your cloud app catalog. You can do your app governance. You can monitor your activity logs. You can also do governance logs as a part of Defender for Cloud Apps, right? You can create a lot of policies, like what kind of applications or data I want to share it to my SaaS application, be it your OneDrive, Gmail work instances, right? And then as a part of Sentinel integration to our XDR portal, you get something called SOC optimization. So as I said, yeah, as you can see, I got an insight saying that, hey, there is a low use of email URL info table. We observe that the table is already ingesting table, but there are no analytical rules or detections that I've used, or I have never used my email events to create a custom table or a threat hunting table, or I'm basically low utilizing my API gateway. So this gives me a value of how I use my data and whether those data being ingested to Sentinel is not only sitting there, but how often I'm using it, my threat hunting or analytics, to get a value of my logs that I am ingesting to Sentinel. It will also give you coverage improvement. So it will show you that how can you tune your AITM or business email compromise cases and where are the coverage missing. right? And also if you give, it will tell me the utilization of my low things. You can also go ahead and give the coverage as well as the data value. So this will show you what kind of data you have ingested across the month, what kind of threat based optimization coverage you have, and what are the optimization that you have done, right? Whether you're doing that active optimization, right? Or you go ahead and make it in progress or complete, it will track your optimization status going forward, right? This is the report where obviously you will get all of the unified reports coming here, be it your security report, hunting report, device health report, uh, uh, coming from your endpoint firewall, device control, or automatic surface reduction, email reports, everything would be there, right? And then this is the part of the where we can basically go ahead and integrate all of the third party or APIs thing, right? On the system, if you go, you will get all of the Defender XDR components, namely M365 Defender, Threat Intel, MD, MDI, and then you can track all of that seamlessly, right? So with that, I pause my presentation and have looking for, do you have any questions or question from endpoints inventory? Does it now indicate when an application was first involved on an endpoint, or does it only indicate the presence of a particular application and the last modified date? Yes, to a certain extent, it gives you, but you will have to track down the specific application and then find out what kind of insights it is. So not always we give when the application was first installed. Obviously, you can go those insights if it is if you are parallelly running your cloud app security, it will give you when it was first installed. But from an endpoint perspective, uh, when we discover an application as a part of our MDVM, we give you those insights particularly when we get the last modified date, but might not be the first install date always. So it depends upon case to case. Yeah, this is a very good question, Purav. We are still missing that. I believe a lot of the BAS tool testing that we did as a part of MD evaluation lab is now missing, and it is basically a feature that we are getting from the customers and working internally to get it back, right? So just like MD or MDCA, how you can simulate that, the evaluation lab is what we needed as well. Yeah, it's a feature that we had in past, and we'll see that how it comes. Any other questions? Yeah, so the moment you move into your unified SOC, you get a unified RBAC's portal as well. So when you basically go ahead and uh, say that I want to go to the unified SOC, you also get a unified RBAC governance tool, or a widget where you basically shows you what unified roles you are basically signing up for and what access they will give you, right? So we are basically mapping each individual M365 roles to a unified RBAC roles going forward. And this will govern which part of your unified RBAC, which team will have access to all of these widgets. Maybe some may only do your Sentinel, or some may do your XDR. So we have seen customers who have a different XDR and a SOC team. So you can basically go ahead and use judicious use of your RBAC to go ahead and give them access, considering. How do you think it's likely inter-ID protection will be addressed to unified RBAC? So unified RBAC today, Purav, already have the ITDR dashboard, right? As I said you. So when you see Entra ID protection, when I say risky, these all risks are coming from Entra ID risk protection or profile, right? Uh, Okay, you are asking for the remediation of the user risk. That obviously the remediation part is not coming here. You still need to depend upon your conditional access in your admin portal or your Entra portal to basically go ahead and remediate that, right? Or use that as a part of your zero trust model. But this portal on the unified portal will just give you the insights or the user risk only. For Unified SoC portal, yes, we do have some other portal which is called multi-tenant MDO tenant, which is mdo.security.microsoft.com. Therein, if you can go ahead and integrate your different tenants coming in, you can basically go ahead and see all of these incidents coming from multi-tenant coming in. So to answer shortly, yes, we do have a separate tenant to manage the multi-tenancy. Currently, the Unified SoC portal and MDO has not been integrated. Yeah, I think